What's the worst announcement your school ever made? I was halfway through my turkey sandwich when the old speakers crackled to life with that familiar electronic whine that made everyone wince. The cafeteria's usual chaos stopped instantly. All students and staff, please remain in your current locations. This is not a drill. Mrs. Henderson's voice sounded nothing like her usual cheerful announcements. It was shaky, nervous, like she was reading from a script she'd never wanted to see. You could hear papers rustling frantically in the background. The speaker clicked off abruptly, leaving us in heavy silence. Everyone stopped eating and looked around with wide eyes. Conversations died mid-sentence. Even the loudest kids sat frozen, forks suspended halfway to their mouths. We all knew what this meant. We'd practiced it enough times, but knowing didn't make it less terrifying. My phone buzzed. A text from my mom. "Stay safe, honey. I love you." The message made my hand shake. How did she already know? Then another from my dad. "Don't move until we come get you." All caps, which he never used unless really worried. Mrs. Garcia, our lunch lady who always smiled, was frantically locking the kitchen doors with trembling hands. Her face was pale, and she kept glancing toward the main entrance like she expected something terrible to walk through it. The weird thing was, I hadn't heard any pops from the hallway. No screaming, no running footsteps, just eerie silence that pressed against my eardrums. Some girl 2 tables over was crying quietly into her hands. I found myself counting things to stay calm. 27 kids in the cafeteria, 3 adults, 4 exits, but 3 were locked now. 18 minutes since the announcement. 20 minutes later, the main doors opened with a soft click that seemed deafening. Mr. Peterson, our principal, peeked in like he was afraid of what he might find. His usually neat tie was crooked, his face pale as paper. "David, can you come with me, please?" My stomach dropped. Why me? Everyone stared as I grabbed my backpack with shaking hands. Mr. Peterson put his hand on my shoulder as we walked down the empty hallway. "Your uncle is here to pick you up," he said quietly. Uncle Mike was waiting in the office, still in his blue work clothes from the auto shop. He looked like he'd been crying, which scared me more than anything else that day. Uncle Mike never cried, not even when Grandpa died. He hugged me tight without saying a word, crushing me against his chest, like he was afraid I might disappear. I could smell motor oil and coffee on his clothes, familiar scents that should have been comforting, but somehow weren't. The ride home felt eternal. Every traffic light lasted forever. I kept watching Uncle Mike's face, but he just stared straight ahead with his jaw clenched. Every time I asked what happened, he just said, "Let's wait until we get home, buddy," in a voice that sounded nothing like his usual joking tone. When we pulled into my driveway, there were cars everywhere. Relatives I hadn't seen since Christmas. Aunt Sarah was sitting on our front steps, dabbing her eyes with tissues. Uncle Mike finally turned to me in the truck. "David, there wasn't a shooter at school today. Your school is fine. The lockdown was because there was an accident at Roosevelt Elementary across town." My heart stopped. Roosevelt Elementary. What kind of accident? A gas leak explosion in the science lab during a field trip visit. Some kids, his voice broke. Some kids didn't make it out. The world started spinning. My little sister Emma had mentioned a field trip this week to see the big kids' science experiments. She'd been so excited, babbling about it for days. "Where's Emma?" I whispered, though I think I already knew. Uncle Mike's silence was deafening. Through the truck window, I could see my mom collapsed on our living room couch, my dad holding her as she sobbed uncontrollably. Dad looked broken, older than I'd ever seen him. Emma's purple book bag was still by the door where she'd dropped it yesterday morning. Her favorite stuffed elephant sat on the kitchen counter waiting for her to come home. Everyone else at my school just had a scary lockdown story to tell their parents that night. I had something else entirely.